Let's get ready to rumble! Pocket Rumble, that is. Wait, what? You guys all know what Pocket Rumble is? Oh shoot, it's the Kamiko reveal all over again. Anyways, Pocket Rumble is an indie fighting game originally released back in 2016 on Steam, and later on in 2018 on the Switch. Gee, I wonder which version I'll be playing. Now, this is no ordinary fighting game. How so, you may ask? Well, for one, the game's 8-bit style is a nod to SNK fighting games that were released on a system known as the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Now, what the heck is that, you may be asking? Honestly, what's anything I talk about in this very review? Well, viewers, it's time for a quick video game history lesson. If you're not familiar with SNK, they're the ones who created the Neo Geo game console, the closest thing to an actual arcade at home. They're also responsible for making a butt-ton of fighting games, like Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, Art of Fighting, etc. Ah, so that's where that Terry Bogard guy that's in Smash comes from. You get the point. So with handheld consoles being popular in the 90s, it would make sense for SNK to make their own. Enter the Neo Geo Pocket, released in 1998 everywhere except for the US. It was monochrome just like the Game Boy, and it only had 10 games before being discontinued. Then, in 1999, came the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which we Americans did get. This time, the game library was a lot more expansive, and much of them were entries from SNK's countless fighting game franchises. And hey, there was even a Sonic the Hedgehog game, Sonic Pocket Adventure, which was actually how I first heard about this system. Shoutouts to Great Clement for that one. So back to Pocket Rumble. The game was actually made as a tribute to the SNK fighting games on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I gotta say, they nailed it down to a T, and they even limited the available buttons down to 2, since the Pocket Color had 2 buttons. This makes it to where pulling off special moves isn't so complex. You won't have to worry about a crazy button combination. All you have to do is press the control stick diagonally down in either direction, and then A or B to do a special move. There's also moves you can use by pressing A and B simultaneously, or you can just map it to a separate button altogether. There are 8 characters in total, and each of them have their own unique gimmick. Speaking of unique, the way their names are displayed on the character select screen is pretty rad. Now let's go over each of them, shall we? First up, we have Tenchi. He's the basic boy of the group. What I mean by that is that he's got the simplest moveset out of everyone. His specials include a dash attack with fire antlers, and fireballs similar to Hadoukens from Street Fighter. Come to think of it, he kinda does look like Ryu if he was a schoolboy. Each time you use a special move, it fills up 1 bar of his meter. 6 moves fills it up all the way, and with that, you can unleash a super fireball. Tenchi by far is the easiest character to get used to, so I'd recommend starting with him first. Next up is Naomi. She's got attacks like elbow drops, explosive rapid punches, and slamming her fist into the ground to blast out a geyser. She could charge her meter manually by pressing A and B at the same time, and then press them again while holding diagonally down to do either a rapid punch or geyser. Parker is quite interesting. He could summon these purple electric orbs and even push them around. Pressing the same combination again will form another orb, and a lightning bolt will strike and shock anyone between the 2 orbs. He can also do parry attacks, but only 3 times per round. Next up we have June. She's very fun to use, but man is she difficult to fight against. Almost the entirety of her moveset is comprised of projectiles and long-ranged attacks, like stabbing with her long hair and sending forward her floating skull. Which, by the way, reminds me of the Medusa heads from Castlevania. Her grab attack involves her possessing her opponent and tossing them around on the ground. Each time you hit your opponent, you collect a wisp. Collect 5 to fill the meter, and then you can create a clone that can use any of the 4 special moves she has. Hector, in my opinion, is the worst of the 8. His gimmick is that his special moves take 1 bar of his life and transfer it to his special meter, and then pressing A and B together lets you regain that health. You can have up to 4 bars in total. I guess it's good for when you're in a pinch, but your opponent may end up comboing you to death anyway. His moves aren't even that good. Kiko is pretty decent once you get the hang of her. She has a demon cat named Q who could distance himself from her, and is also in charge of using the special attacks, which can be handy for attacking foes both near and far. I find her playstyle pretty similar to that of Rosalina and Luma's from Smash Bros. Q even has its own health bar and can be killed, but unlike the Lumas, Q doesn't come back until the next round, and Kiko can't use specials anymore. And it doesn't help that there's even a move where Q explodes and dies, and sometimes I use it when I don't even mean to. There goes my round. Speaking of moves I don't mean to activate, let's move on to Quinn. Quinn is this DJ dude who can turn into a werewolf once per round. Though it's only for a short time, his moves are pretty powerful as a werewolf. He has a dash attack that even blocking won't last very long against. And if you're lucky, you can even spam it for an easy victory. But one hit will automatically transform Quinn back into a human. And like with Kiko's exploding cat, I sometimes find myself transforming on accident. And many times I get hit almost immediately, and that screws me over. And finally, we have Subject 11, who I gotta say has a pretty cool design that reminds me of the gorillas. He's got these green telekinetic hands that have several options for grabbing and throwing opponents. Blocking attacks builds up his meter for a shield that blocks one attack. He can be pretty powerful if used right, and you can trap foes in a cycle of being grabbed and thrown. Unless you're fighting June. Alright, now that the characters are covered, I've got to address something about this game. It's absolutely unfair. Now it might just be me and I suck at fighting games, but I swear, this game is difficult. I'm pretty sure I've lost more matches than I've won. Here's why I say this. First of all, the opponents can easily trap you against the wall and combo you until you die. The moment you get up from one attack, you're already hit back down. They have no mercy. Even when I'm just doing a regular exhibition match and I set them to easy, they still find a way to kick my ass. And then when I try to fight back, they block my moves and I'm only able to get a few hits every now and then. And sometimes I could pretty much cheese the fight and absolutely destroy them, but that just feels like the CPU is just letting me win. Another problem is sometimes I try to use a specific attack, but instead do a totally different one. Like here, I swear I wasn't trying to use the parry. That requires both the A and B button, and I was only pressing A, but it still registered as the parry. Now I wasted them for the round. And here, look at this! I swear I didn't mean to turn into a werewolf, but I did! And then I get hit and lose it for the round. I honestly don't know what's going on, like, is my controller busted or is it a bug in the game? Oh, and how do you like this? When Tenchi beats you and you're close to him, this happens. Isn't that nice? And when Naomi wins, she does this. Damn, talk about insult to injury. But I'm not kidding when I say, this game makes me want to throw my controller out the window sometimes. The only way I stand a chance against anyone is when I play as June, Tenchi, or even sometimes Subject 11. Picking anyone else pretty much means I lost. Alright, one last thing I'd like to bring up is the credits. The fashion in which it's presented is quite humorous. But why do they have it listed in the game twice? Once in the main menu and another in the options menu. They must be really proud of this game. I'll admit, it's not that bad of a fighting game, and its sheer difficulty might be because I'm a noob. The game looks and sounds wonderful, the characters and stages are creative, though I wish they had a stage select. And I'd say if you're a fan of all types of fighting games, then give this one a try. But that will do it for today. So until next time, this is Beneficial Gamer, signing off.